embarrassed last week. The Colorado Buffaloes have been the talk of the media, but they had a chance to bounce back against Colorado State in what has started to become a big rivalry. And that's exactly what they did. I think we pretty much all know what you can expect from Colorado by now. They have a lot of front-loaded talent, but there is no line on either side of the ball. But even with that, this is still going to be one of the most watched and talked about teams of the year. In this video, I'm going to recap the win over Colorado State, talk about what went well, how Travis Hunter was so dominant, and also what they can take away from this game moving forward. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 40k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright, so to go back and start with the hype train that rolled into Boulder this offseason, Coach Prime had the college football world buzzing after his first year at the helm. But it was his son Shedeur and two-way star Travis Hunter who really had fans and analysts alike salivating over Colorado's potential. Shedeur came into the year with legitimate Heisman buzz after throwing for over 3,000 yards and 27 touchdowns in 2023. Meanwhile, Hunter was looking to build on his freakish freshman campaign where he excelled both as a receiver and cornerback. The duo had people wondering, could Colorado actually compete for a Big 12 title in their first year back in the conference? But it wasn't just the star power at the top. Coach Prime orchestrated another massive roster overhaul through the transfer portal. We're talking about over 50 new players joining the program. Some notable additions included former Florida Atlantic receiver LeJontay Wester, who had over 1,000 yards last season, and a highly touted freshman offensive tackle in Jordan Seaton. The Buffs also brought in some much needed help on defense, including former Arizona State edge rusher BJ Green and Liberty cornerback Preston Hodge. With all these new pieces, expectations were a lot higher in Boulder. I think everyone still knew they were years away from being a team that could be like ranked or anything like that, but the goal for this year was to win 6 games and to be bowl eligible. Now, let's break down how the season has actually played out so far. The Buffs kicked things off on a Thursday night showdown against FCS powerhouse North Dakota State. And man, what a game it was. Colorado squeaked out a 31-26 victory, but it was not pretty to say the least. Shedeur showed why he's considered one of the top quarterbacks in the country, throwing for a ridiculous 445 yards with 4 touchdowns. His connection with Travis Hunter was on full display as Hunter hauled in 7 catches for 132 yards and 3 scores. But the story of the game was Hunter's Iron Man performance, playing every snap but one on both offense and defense. Here is what the media had to say about this game.
College football did in a big way. There was a thriller in Colorado between North Dakota State and the Colorado Buffaloes. North Dakota State, obviously one of the top teams in D1 AA. And we knew that people that were potentially casuals to college football did not know about North Dakota State's greatness.
Because I told him to throw me the ball no matter what. So he got mad at me. He was like, I don't care, catch the ball. So that one, I just know I had to catch the ball. I had no other choice, no other option. So whatever I had to do to get the ball, I was going to get it.
While the offense looked explosive, there were some concerns. The offensive line, which was a major weakness last season, still struggled a lot at times, and the defense gave up some big plays to an FCS opponent. Still, a win is a win, and Buffs fans were riding high heading into week 2. But then came the reality check in Lincoln, Nebraska. The Cornhuskers absolutely dominated Colorado in a 28-10 beatdown that exposed a lot of the Buffs' weaknesses. Shedeur Sanders was under constant pressure, getting sacked 5 times and throwing an interception. Also, with the O-line struggling, the run game was non-existent, and the defense had no answer for Nebraska's ground attack. It was a humbling experience for Coach Prime and the team. The offensive line issues that plagued them in 2023 were still very much present, and the defense, despite the offseason additions, looked overwhelmed against a real Power 5 opponent. Suddenly, that little hype that rolled over from week 1 was feeling a bit premature. But I do have to give the players and coaching staff some credit, because they bounced back in a big way in week 3 against their in-state rival Colorado State. The Buffs came out fired up and dominated in a 28-9 victory. Shedeur Sanders was back to his efficient self, throwing for 310 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the defense looked much improved, forcing a few turnovers. However, the post-game handshakes became the bigger story. Shedeur refused to shake hands with Colorado State quarterback Braden Fowler, telling him, "You can't F with me," and referencing some of that pregame trash talk on social media. It was a moment that showcased the chip on this team's shoulder, but also raised some eyebrows and got everyone talking. Here is what people had to say.
Paul, let's start with Shedeur. Any issue with him not shaking hands?
None whatsoever. Yeah, in a perfect world, everybody should sing Kumbaya, but that's not what happened here. The quarterback trash talked all week, and Shedeur shut his mouth up, and it's over. I think he did the right thing.
To me, the only issue I have with this at all is that he didn't shake his hand. Because to me, I would have shook your hand and brought you in and told you. I'm not going to tell you from 5 feet away, and I don't even want the cameras to hear me. I just want you to know that I know I did it to you again. Because Colorado State ran their mouth all week on social media.
But outside of that, now let's talk about some recent developments in Boulder. There's been a lot of chatter about Travis Hunter's workload, with some analysts questioning whether playing both ways for nearly every snap is sustainable. Coach Prime has defended him, but it's definitely something to monitor as the season progresses. Anyways, looking ahead, the Buffs have a tough stretch coming up. They face Baylor this weekend, followed by road trips to Oregon and USC. It's a gauntlet that will really test where this team stands, but I'm just gonna say I have a preconceived notion that it's not gonna be pretty. So, what's the outlook for the rest of the season? Honestly, it's hard to say. The talent is clearly there, especially on offense, but the offensive line remains a major question mark, and the defense is still finding its footing. A bowl game should be the minimum expectation, but competing for a Big 12 title might be a stretch. But one thing's for sure, the team is never boring. Coach Prime has brought a swagger and media attention that Colorado hasn't seen in years. Every game feels like an event, and you never know what kind of soundbite or highlight you're going to get. Getting back on track though, the key for the Buffs will be consistency. Can they build on that Colorado State win and start stringing together complete performances, or will we continue to see flashes of brilliance mixed with frustrating setbacks? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Shedeur and Travis are legitimate superstars, but they can't do it alone. The supporting cast has to do something. At the end of the day, this feels like a team that could finish anywhere from 6-6 to 9-3, depending on how a few key games shake out. The potential is there for something special, but there are still a lot of questions to be answered. One thing's for certain, we'll all be watching every step of the way. The Buffs are must-see TV for better or for worse. That's all I got for this one. Let me know in the comments below how you are feeling about Colorado as we approach week 4. And thank you all so much if you did make it to this point. And if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.